This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
Ooh-wee!
And we are back for the Rick and Johnny. I don't know why I did it that way today.
I don't either.
I gave myself even a pause after that because I was like, that was weird. I usually never introduce Johnny like I just did. But welcome into the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast. Johnny's like, yeah, never do that again. Never introduce me. Introduce me with respect that I deserve on this show. But if you're new to the Rick and Johnny podcast, this is usually, as I'm dropping shit behind me, this is usually the shenanigans that you get each and every week from Johnny and myself, talking about everything under the two nerdy suns, from Marvel to DC to Star Wars to video games. Everything nerdy, we got it covered right here on the Rick and Johnny podcast. Before we get into everything for today, make sure to check us out, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. That is where you help support us. $1 gets you into the Discord server. You can talk to all the MVP guys, as well as our Patreon family on Discord 24/7. You can also, at the $5 tier, suggest your questions into the show. And at the $10 tier, you can come join a podcast each and every month and talk about whatever it is you would like to talk about. So patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcasts. That is down below in the description. But Johnny, a complete MCU show today, as I came in with a Batman topic because, yet again, Batman. We're just like, Batman. It pains me to do this because he's my favorite hero. But for the second week in a row, we're kind of pushing him off. Don't worry, we will get to Batman next week because we've got tons of casting news. I'm just going to break this to you right now if you haven't heard. Do you know who is most likely going to be Alfred in the Batman, the Matt Reeves movie?
I have not.
Andy Serkis.
Interesting.
Andy Serkis is probably going to be our Pennywise. And also...
Pennywise?
Not Pennywise. Pennyworth. Alfred Pennyworth.
That's an interesting choice.
I think of Serkis, and I'm like, oh, he'd be a good Pennywise, but he's going to be our Alfred.
Skarsgård's a good Pennywise.
But then also Colin Farrell, I believe it is rumored to now be our Penguin after Jonah Hill dropped out of that running. But we're going to get to all that next week. MCU all this week. We're going to be looking at Doctor Strange 2. We're going to be looking at WandaVision. We're going to be looking at Ant-Man 3. Those are kind of the big three that we're going to touch in this podcast. And we're actually going to start with Doctor Strange 2 because there's a lot to unpack with this, Johnny, because first off, it was the whole premise of Doctor Strange 2, as we know, is it's going to dabble into the multiverse. Like Kevin Feige said at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, was just because Quentin Beck. I'm thinking of Quantum Realm, and I combined Quentin and Quantum. Quentin Beck wasn't dealing with the multiverse in Spider-Man. Doesn't mean they don't exist. We will dive into that in Doctor Strange 2. And then the director also said that it will be the first horror movie for an MCU film, as they will have Nightmare as the villain and kind of dive in to that nightmare realm. So the first thing, and also they came out this week and said that Loki will be a part of it in some way. Not the actual story, but we'll probably have a post-credit scene because Doctor Strange 2 is going to set up the Loki Disney Plus series. So the thing I wanted to start with is the smaller one, is that of, since Loki's not going to be an actual part of the movie, like a big part of the movie, how is this going to set up the Loki Disney Plus series? Because from what we know about that, is it's Tesseract Loki from Endgame basically going throughout time and different realities, kind of changing key events. Like we have a screenshot that's circulating online of him at a movie premiere, and in the background it's the movie premiere for Jaws, which came out, I believe, in the 80s.
I believe so.
So we already know that. If you are Kevin Feige, congratulations, I did it again.
Yeah, you did. You forgot to bring my jacket, though.
I forgot to bring you your jacket and hat. I will do that in the future. Maybe that'll be your Christmas gift. But
that sucks.
How are you setting up Loki Disney Plus series using Doctor Strange 2?
Shit, I'm trying to think. Maybe. Let me think. So we got Loki using the Tesseract, messing with shit. I would say part of it would be maybe he starts by noticing influxes in certain things where he's got to go to another, like...
You're saying Doctor Strange notices influxes? Okay.
Where it's like, okay, wait, this isn't right. Goes to it, and he's like kind of almost starts off as cleaning Loki's messes.
Yes.
And then it comes down to actually he runs into Nightmare. And then just whatever goes from there. That's the general, like... spitball that I have so far.
I didn't even think about that when I was thinking about it, where what you can do, and this doesn't make Loki a main part of the movie, but it makes him a part of the movie, is maybe Doctor Strange notices, because Wanda's also going to be in this, Scarlet Witch, and it's really about her and Doctor Strange fighting Nightmare in the Nightmare realm. And the thing that I'm just going to spitball off yours, Doctor Strange notices, hey, there's an abnormality here. He goes to check it out and notices, wait, something's not right. Like, kind of like maybe I don't want to say he's back in time because we're not dealing with the quantum realm like we were in Endgame, but he is in a different multiverse, and it's like, wait, this isn't supposed to be like this is, and maybe like he like opens up, I want to say like opens up the books, because with Doctor Strange it's all about the old books and stuff, and it's like, wait, that's not supposed to be how it is in this multiverse, and that kind of clues him off to where we don't know what it is that did that until we get a very think back to Avengers 1 type of post-credit scene where I'm thinking the one where we have the Doctor comes in, opens the Tesseract box, and in the mirror, we see Loki standing there. Where it's kind of one of those where it's like, oh, that's who pulled this string that made that happen. And maybe that's how they set it up, where it's like something earlier in the movie happens, and then we find out later that it's, oh, that was Tesseract Loki that did that. Okay, so that's kind of what he's doing. Kind of like where they suggest where it's like, oh, he wasn't in this movie, but he's running around doing things in the multiverse while this movie's going
So I'm
on.
going to go a little bit off of yours. And then
that's
a little
usually
bit of
what
changes.
I like to do here.
So I'm trying to think how to include Wanda in this still, but it's going to be like Doctor Strange going, like maybe he... like you said, sort of like detects is probably the wrong word for me to use, but I'm just gonna go with it for now.
Just notices.
Yeah, he notices that something's not right.
He's aware to it
because he's supposed to be watching like the magic users, and Loki's on his list. I don't know if it's ever revealed to him that Loki's dead because he was snapped away for 5 years.
Yeah, you're right. In Infinity War, no one ever told him that he's dead.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, because they didn't get to see Thor.
Yeah, unless he finds out, unless they do a scene in the beginning of this movie where Thor is in it, and he finds out Loki's dead, and then that kind of maybe then that makes it more aware. If like let's say early in the film we show him finding out that Loki is dead, but then it's like, wait, I thought he was supposed to be dead. Why do I see him here? Well, but yet again, that makes him part of the movie. I was going
to say it's like a more so a he doesn't know he's dead, so he goes. He's sent like senses or whatever word you want to use, that there's like a magic being used said like resemblance of Loki. He goes, well, shit, I gotta go check this type out. I thought. Make sure like shit stuff isn't going to shit, and for whatever I'm trying to think how to include Wanda is the problem I'm having, but he goes to check it out. It ends up being Nightmare instead, who's got a fairly similar magic to Loki. Maybe
I will say this, and this is what I'm going to call the tease. Don't worry about Wanda right now.
Yeah.
I will tell you how we get Wanda into this when we talk about WandaVision.
Okay.
In the next topic.
Gotcha.
But, like, this one I think is the smallest one. Of basically, the point of us saying is something happens later on in the post-credit scene. We find out, oh, Loki was running around doing this at the same time, because the whole timeline of it is this, that WandaVision, and maybe we should have done it this way for the sake of continuity.
Yeah.
But I was going on which, for the headline, Doctor Strange 2 is the more premier of the titles, but WandaVision will happen first.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange happens right after that. They're all in the spring of 2021, I want to say.
A lot
but
of those,
it's
yeah.
WandaVision first, then Doctor Strange 2, then right after that, maybe May, is going to be the Loki Disney Plus series. So they kind of happen in succession, one after another. Here's the big part that I wanted to talk about with this, and the multiverse and kind of what's been going on behind the scenes at Marvel. So, if you guys haven't known, Marvel canceled a lot of its Marvel television projects that it had coming up. One of them being the Ghost Rider series. Basically, what Kevin Feige did was he was made the head of not just Marvel TV, but Marvel movies and Marvel comics. So any story coming out of Marvel right now, it goes through Kevin Feige before it comes out. The thing that I am thinking from this movie, since we're dealing with multiverses, and pretty much when I see the word madness, I'm thinking the multiverse is going to break in some way, and it's going to not be, I don't think it's going to be fixed. Like, they may fix it to where it's like, oh, it's not broken, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like when your toy breaks and you fix it and you're like, yep, well, this arm is never going to be the exact same again. Kind of one of those things where the multiverse is going to break. We may fix it to where it's stable, but it ain't going to be anywhere close to where it was. I want to ask you, could Marvel use this movie to set up Ghost Rider, to set up Blade, and more importantly, could they use it to set up the X-Men and the Fantastic Four?
To set up Ghost Rider, I'm going to say definitely, because especially if they're jumping through multiverses or different universes, one of them could be a resemblance or actually be Hell.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, who's to say Hell's not like its own kind of multiverse per se? Like, I don't even know if it's like multiverse like people think. When they say multiverse, it's not necessarily like DC Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 4. This is more so... so just honestly, you would have to watch that first movie, Doctor Strange, where the ancient one,
Supreme.
Yeah, Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, that's what
ancient
Doctor
one
Strange is now.
He is now, yeah.
Yeah.
Like hits him, sends him into his astral form, and when he's basically barreling through,
like there's one where he got the hands growing,
hands off of his fingers, hands off of hands off of hands. There's one where he actually sees Dormammu. Dormammu's his own. Basically a ruler of his own multiverse, or one of his universes.
Dimension.
The dimension, thank you. When
when
they say multiverse, I feel like it's more of like the dimensions.
They're thinking more Rick and Morty dimensions rather than the DC Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3.
Yeah,
Earth
which
4.
actually Rick and Morty is more like that too. It's you got Rick C-137,
That's right. Good
you got
point.
Rick this one, the scientist formerly known as Rick, etc., etc. That's more like a DC setup too. I feel like this is like when they say multiverse of madness, this might be more of a him jumping from dimension to dimension, as they called it in the first one. That's what I'm thinking. It's more like, because I don't think he's jumping from like this Earth to this Earth to this Earth, which Quentin Beck hinted at, but that was because he was from this one. He was just making up the story.
Apparently, so I got two things here.
Yeah.
One, the definition from Marvel Comics of a multiverse. A multiverse is a collection of alternate universes with a similar nature and a universal hierarchy. The Marvel multiverse contains the universe that holds Earth 6116. Most of the what-if universes as well as a vast number of alternate Marvel Universe Earths. So it's basically, they're not saying, oh, Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. It's just, we're the main one, but this multiverse has different versions of our Earth. Or even, like you said, Dormammu has his own multiverse that he rules. Nightmare has his own multiverse that's kind of like his version of hell, where he brings nightmares and makes them real. And for me, I wonder if they're going to use this movie. Ghost Rider is super easy. The only thing that they have to decide, and what I was going to ask you, is they're pretty much, I think, going to set up a Ghost Rider movie in the future.
Yeah.
With this movie, I don't know. Maybe this movie opens the door for them to do it. But the question that I was going to ask you is, if you're doing a Ghost Rider movie, are you going to do Johnny Blaze, which is the original Ghost Rider, or do you continue on what they did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over there, wasn't Robbie Reyes the one they used?
Yes.
So in your mind, yet again, you're doing a Ghost Rider movie. What do? Do you go with Robbie Reyes like you did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or do you go with Johnny Blaze and have it be the original?
I'd be down for either, to be honest, because either way, I don't think you have, in this one, as of now, there's no actual Ghost Rider.
No.
So you can go off of either. I would say go Johnny Blaze because he's the original.
And correct me if I'm wrong, was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., do we know if that's a different multiverse or if that was on our Earth?
That was supposed to be our Earth because I think that's supposed to be our Earth because it's.
But Robbie Reyes was from a different multiverse.
He was the Ghost Rider. Okay. There was a poster in the background of one of them that like said the name Johnny Blaze on it. That was the hint to him, but it never said he was Ghost Rider. Yeah, any of that. But they decided to go this one with a Robbie Reyes, which I wouldn't be opposed to Robbie Reyes, but I would say almost like, unless you want to incorporate the Nicolas Cage
Ghost Rider.
If you want to incorporate the Nicolas Cage and say, yeah, he technically is part of the MCU to some degree, and have him like almost like he's passing the torch type thing, kind of like they did in the first Ghost Rider movie. Wouldn't be opposed to that, but I don't think Marvel would go ahead and do that. They would probably just want to restart, and then at that point, I would say go Johnny Blaze for now. You can always have him pass the torch later on if you want to jump into a Robbie Reyes.
I mean, or here, let me see really quick, because the whole reason why this is even possible is because of, by having Nightmare in here, it can give you, like, Nightmare and the spirits of vengeance are related. And if I'm not mistaken, the spirits of vengeance are the big kind of MacGuffin, I'll say, that gives Ghost Rider his power.
He is possessed by the spirit of vengeance.
Yes. I mean, by having Nightmare in this, spirit of vengeance can be maybe kind of even if it's like the Infinity Gauntlet in Thor 1, or was that Thor 2, where they were walking down, it's like, oh my God, there's the Eternal Flame. Oh my God, there's the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh my God,
Thor 1.
Where it's like,
or they also did it again in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, maybe it's something like that. Yeah, maybe it's something like that where it's just like, okay, it's there, it's in the universe now, it's here. But they could also, I don't know if they do this, but they could also go with Danny Ketch also for Ghost Rider. Danny Ketch was, after his sister was injured by ninja gangsters, Ketch came into contact with a motorcycle that somehow had been basically enchanted to contain the essence of a spirit of vengeance. Blaze reappeared in the 1990s series as a supporting character, and it was later revealed that Danny and his sister were Johnny Blaze's long-lost siblings. So Ketch was the second one. I don't know if I do that. If I'm doing Ghost Rider, go with the original. Go with Johnny Blaze. How about the other two, though? Could this be the thing that gives us the X-Men in the MCU?
I'd say save that for an Earthbound hero to do. like something that's going to take place on
Like it doesn't
Earth.
like I'm not saying where it's like they mention, oh, now X-Men exist, but could this movie, and maybe we get more into this with WandaVision, and that's what bridges us into this. Is this movie, because the multiverse, or because the multiverse gets shattered, is this what gives them the reason of like, hey, these universes may be blended together, and now the X-Men exist. Now Blade exists in our universe.
would just have a different movie do that, because this is going to be jumping multiverse to multiverse. Let it be another movie that, like, on our MCU...
I'm not saying explain it. I'm saying, like, I'm saying back and go, okay.
Let it be another movie that does it. To not be like, he's jumping from multiverse to multiverse. Hey, there's mutants on this one. Then you go... Or, like, because some people, if they're a casual... are not going to follow it like you and I would be able to understand.
I'm saying have it be subtle. I'm not saying like
that's why I'm saying
slap in the face.
Save it another one.
I'm saying even if it's something like not even I'm saying not even shown on the screen.
Vampires are already part of the MCU.
Are they?
Yeah, if you think about it, Thor Ragnarok, when he's talking to Korg getting ready for the combat, he goes, "Would you like to use a giant wooden fork?" And Thor goes, no. He goes, yeah, they'd only be good if 3 vampires would huddle together. So they're already in the MCU.
Good point.
Vampires are already there. We don't really need... Well, we don't really need an introduction to Blade now. Obviously, casuals probably didn't catch that.
Yeah.
You didn't even remember that.
No,
I just watched Thor Ragnarok 50 or more times. So
I mean, that's...
that plays into it.
Yeah.
But, I mean... I would say take another movie that's not going to jump from multiverse to multiverse to hint at it, to reference it, just because you don't want to confuse the casuals, too. You got to remember that you and I, we watch these movies on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You and I, we're going to go see it, maybe see it twice, buy it when it comes out.
And we're also going to probably someday when we want to do
our... for Disney Plus.
Exactly. But when we do our full MCU and review that we want to do, we're not going to call it that exactly, but like... The idea that I've had that we watch them not in order that they came out.
Chronologically.
But the order that they would have appeared. I don't know if that's even better. I don't know if it's worse because of post-credit scenes. But we'll find out.
It kind of messes things up a little bit depending on the one.
But I mean, with this one, Doctor Strange 2 is probably the Phase 4 movie I am most excited for. I'm sorry, Johnny. It's not Love and Thunder. This is the one I am most excited for.
Ricky, I'm excited for them all.
Well, only because I feel like, number one, this is going to be the movie that pushes the boundaries the most, being the first... When they said the first horror movie for the MCU...
Oh, no, for sure.
I was like, holy shit, that's going to be cool. Now, it's not going to be like rated R horror. In my mind, it's PG-13 horror, so take that into consideration.
Exactly.
It's not like we're seeing a Brightburn out there with him just killing people left and right.
Yeah.
But I mean... It's going to be interesting.
I'll wait till you're done. Go ahead.
No,
because I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, because I was going to say that there's something that could be done in this movie that leads into WandaVision.
Okay, hit me with it.
Well, I was going to let you finish what you were
I'm
finishing
done.
Up. Okay.
I think it's going to be interesting.
So,
I'm the most excited for. This is the one that I'm most excited for out of all the movies.
I'm always excited for all the Marvel movies.
I get that, but you can be excited for one more than the other.
Yeah, as they come out, I'm excited for that one most. Anyway, so one I was thinking about was
tease going into the second discussion.
Here's where my scenario comes in. So I don't know how we get Wanda into this movie yet. I've not thought about that, but
I will feed you, baby bird.
Okay. Would you like to do that first before I give this? Because mine will.
Okay. So is this? Do you want this to be in the WandaVision topic or at the end of this one?
Put yours at the end of this one. I'll put mine in the WandaVision one.
Okay. So
you will have to watch the WandaVision now to get what I was talking about.
You know what? I'm going to put it at the top of the WandaVision one. So I will end this one if you're on YouTube, yes, like Johnny said, you're gonna have to go
check out
and
our
check out.
one tomorrow.
Come on, if you're
tomorrow,
if you're a fan of the podcast, like
or
they're
later
all
if
up
you're
in
on
the
Friday,
same day. They're all up in the same day now.
Oh, are they?
So yeah. So
you told me
like,
they come out one day a week. That's last you told me.
We changed it.
You changed it.
No, we did.
Who's
Sean,
we?
Dave, and I.
Oh, see, no one tells me anything.
We changed it on the MVP channel, which changed it on the Nerd channel.
They don't tell me shit.
Because if I would have told you, you know what you would have said? Okay.
Exactly. But
so I just go ahead and do it.
But see that now I look like a
Johnny, like, now I look like an asshole. Thanks, asshole. But yeah, so if you're looking at this, wait 2 hours, it'll be out. Or if you're like, hey, I didn't catch this right at 10:15 Central Time when it came out, guess what? The Wanda one's out. Go ahead and check it out. But let us know what you guys think down below. How does Doctor Strange 2, how is it going to, like, how would you set up the Loki Plus series with it? Would you use it to set up X-Men, Fantastic Four, Blade, Ghost Rider? Let us know all your thoughts down below in the comment section.